I'm a natural body supremacist. I'd rather a girl with an A cup over fake. I'd prefer like even a little belly fat over lipo. I'll take a small ass over a BBL. I'll take a small upper lip over lip fillers. Basically, you can just take any woman who's had these procedures, and I'd prefer them as they were before having got procedure. And I genuinely think a lot of men feel this way. And I do think, ladies, you kind of, at least when it comes to your dating prospects, I know you guys aren't like, it's not for the men. Let me just grant that. Fine, you're not doing it for the men. It still hurts your dating prospects, I genuinely think, because I think a man who does have his head on right is going to see a woman who's got all this cosmetic surgery, and like it's going to kind of like make him consider like, okay, someone who has a lot of plastic surgery.
Okay, I'm going to pause it right there. There's like so many talking points right now. Yeah, but but let's just start with the intro real quick. Welcome back to the Controvert Podcast. Before I get started with the analysis of this, I just want to say, bro, dude, we just totally renovated this whole studio, bro. Like, Controvert Podcast has a new look now. So I just want to tell y'all, like, we went from like a table setup to now we got this couch setup, man.
Yeah, and if you're with us even earlier than that, we were in like a two sofa setup.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
the one-on-one, yeah.
Two couch. That was like so long ago. That was like almost like 1.5 years ago.
Yeah, a year and a half ago.
Yeah. So let's get into this, man. I mean, Dalan, I think you had a couple questions for me, man. So like, let's let you talk first on this.
All right, yeah. So like on this clip, they were talking about like, you know, girls with like, you know, like plastic surgery and cosmetics. What are your thoughts on that, bro? Like, if you seen the girl like, all right, a cute Asian, right? Like, would you rather prefer her with like a body kit on, or like, you know, just like stock?
Yeah. See, that's the thing, man. I mean, I feel like some of these girls have a point, because I do know some guys, a good amount of guys actually, who do like girls with like fake tits, and
or
they're
like
it
big
doesn't
ass,
bother
right?
me. Yeah, they're like, it doesn't bother me. But me personally, I feel like you're like a cyborg, man. Like you are a cyborg to a point where like things are not real anymore.
Not natural.
Like they're fake. So if they're not natural.
All right, one question is, does natural, like, how different does natural and fake feel? Like on breasts, like
breasts.
Hey, yeah, like, can you feel the difference? Can guys feel the difference? Or,
man. I mean, it's a lot harder, man, and it just feels like there's silicone in there. You could
like,
tell.
You just, you just, like,
and then it's not a comforting feeling. It's like, it's hard.
Yeah,
man.
you're just like, would you rather have preferred it like all natural but smaller? You're just like, oh, like this feels real.
Oh yeah, for sure. And then also with that, because you know that it's real, you are not like incepted. Your brain is not fucked up in the head, like where you're like, I don't know what to trust anymore.
Is that just me, guys? Because like I feel like sometimes when like I see like, you know, breast implants, like sometimes I get that feeling too. Like I think that in the back of my head, I'm just like, did something mess up or something? Like I don't know, dude. Like, so do other guys feel the same way too, or is it just like us, dude?
I think with this whole thing with like cosmetic surgery, yeah, for sure. Okay, if a girl has a lack of confidence, it's very important for her to have more confidence and go ahead and get that. But I feel like now we've come to a society where it's just like we completely accept this, completely accept like, yeah, it's totally fine. So everyone go and get it whenever you feel like it. And it's not like, hey, like we should prevent this from happening. We should minimize this and mitigate it as much as possible. It's more like now, for any fucking reason, they're like, I want to do it because I feel like I would look better. No shit, everyone would look better with bigger tits. You know, like I feel like majority whole women would look better with bigger boobs. Obviously not too big, right? Maybe like B cup, C cup, right? But, you know, now it's just gotten to a point where it's just like absolutely whatever they feel like it, they're like, I'm going to go and do it. And if a guy tells me not to do it, then fuck him. He's a bigot and he's controlling as fuck. And I'm like, well, I totally understand because, you know, like I've seen girls, they're like completely depressed because their boobs are not big.
All right, so here's one thing. Depression, right? Like guys, when we get depressed, what do? We hit the motherfucking gym, right? And then we get fit, right? But girls, they're the complete opposite. They're like, oh, like some of them might be lazy, like, oh no, fuck the gym, I want a fast way out. Let me get some plastic surgery on this bitch.
They get lipo.
Yeah, they get lipo. Yeah, you know, like what I mean? Or like, you know, like you can work your ass out too to get a fatter too, but girls are like, nah, let me get like some like BBLs or something, you know. But guys, it's like, oh, let me hit the gym, you know, type of stuff. Like, you know, like, what are your thoughts on this right now? Like, do you think girls are just finding the easy way out, or like, what do you think's happening? Like,
that's crazy you talk about it, because I feel like with guys, our dicks, we're just left with that. How do we make it bigger? How do we make it bigger?
Yeah, there's no plastic surgery for that, right?
How do you make your dick bigger? So guys, like, if we get called
That's a
small
sensitive
dick,
topic, yeah.
then we're fucked. Like, what can we do about it? Especially if you're Asian.
Yeah.
I mean, Asians out of like
But
blacks, whites,
what do girls consider small?
etc. Yeah, that's another thing. That's another topic. But I feel like just Asians, we're just locked in with what we have, right?
Like, we're just
gotta
like average, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't feel any lack of confidence from that. But I feel like if I were a guy that like it really hurt me or it really got to me, like as an Asian male who has a small penis, I'd be like, dude, what the fuck can I do with this? You know?
There's literally nothing you could do, right?
But
like,
for women, at least you have a way out. You have a way out, and then now it's gone.
no, but what if it's like women's like if it's too loose? Right? Like, is there a way out for that?
Look at this guy's face.
Like, what if it's too loose? Like,
If it's too loose,
can we just sew it back together or something?
actually, I think there's surgery.
Stop!
There's a surgery operation for that, honestly. Girls can actually make that like tighter, and then if you have, you know, like pussy lips, right? Like pussy lips. You know how like some are like really flappy. I mean, that shit doesn't bother me.
You
I
mean
actually
like
that.
what do you call it? Like the Subway, like
Subway like pastrami sandwich looking thing. Yeah.
Can you make that go away too? You just like bro, just like.
I think that like there's even operations for that. You can cut off like excess.
I think that's going too far though. Like when you start like going down to the genital areas, right?
Yeah,
that's
but the thing with men, like, what can we do?
We can't fix that.
Like women, they have breasts and vagina. They can fix both of that. But for men, we have our dicks. What the fuck can we do with that?
Pop more Viagra.
That's not gonna make your dick bigger.
More blood. Come on, grow.
That's not gonna make your dick bigger, bro. But I mean, like,
you're right. Bro.
There's I feel like it bothers me, bro. Like knowing that something is fake. I know like a good amount of men, like it doesn't bother them, but yeah, like what Brian's saying here on the Whatever podcast, I feel like he's right. Like there's a good amount of men that get bothered by this. Like
have you seen women like as they're getting a little bit older, they start getting like fillers in the lips or like what Botox, like, you know, they start looking like a little like not normal anymore. You're just like, oh
yeah, like the lip filler, I think they just start looking like a frog,
right? And then plus the Botox on top of that is like a lizard, right? They're just like, I'm just like, oh, you know, like,
oh man, it's like a lizard frog looking thing.
Yeah, God, for real,
damn.
dude. Like, does that make you feel comfortable, or would you rather just her like be in her natural state and just be like, yeah, you know, like accept your like age and stuff? Yeah, like,
so I totally agree with Brian, man. Like, but I can't speak behalf of all men, right? Because I know, as I said, as I reiterated, I know a lot of men who like look at boobs a lot and look at ass a lot. So if they see a BBL, even though it looks fake as fuck, or if they see boobs and it looks fake as fuck, you could tell from a million photos. They would be like, oh, dude, that's fucking hot. They would be like eyeing the shit out of it. But for me, like I see it, I'm like, that looks fake as fuck. And that doesn't appeal me. That just actually turns me off even more.
So what he was saying about like, oh, limiting like your dating pool options, do you think that's like fair for him to say to women, like, if you get BBLs, you're gonna like, what are the type of men that think this way and the men that like body kits? Like, are there different types? Like, which way do they lean? You know, like,
you're right. Okay. Like, I think it's like this, man. Like, what he said is definitely right. Okay, so I'm gonna start with that. But you know, the really thirsty guys that just like look at anything and they're just like, oh my god, that BBL looks so good.
They're just like,
those fake boobs look good.
Hey, I know a homie that does that.
Yeah, those are the ones that just want everything. And so yeah, what he says is 100% right, dude. Like, those are the types of guys you cannot like husband up.
Oh yeah, those are just those, you know, like,
and they're not gonna wife you up. They're
just
like the dudes that just want to fuck everything. And then the dudes that are like more reasonable, actually, I see a lot of women who are natural that have husbands, but you actually don't see a lot of women that are wives, with like BBLs and fake boobs and all that shit.
Like, I don't want to be like generalizing or anything, but mostly those women, like, I seen them like OnlyFans or like, you know, like in the like clubbing scene, you know, or like more like on that side of the end, like end of the spectrum.
But you know what's like, interesting is that in Korea, it's like the most plastic
Common?
surgery place, right?
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
And I'm sure like a lot of people have husbands and all that, right? But they've accepted it, and it's become so normalized over there that they all just do it. And it's not just like fake boobs. It's not just BBLs. Like I don't think they do that much. I think it's more like the nose, like the bridge.
Yeah, the nose.
They do like the bridge here, so it looks more like a white person. And then they also do eyes, and then it's more facial, right?
I think it's because like American people are like starting to like simulate like Asian culture into like everything, like animes on the up, you know, like K-pop, like everyone. So they're like, oh, like why don't
you know, fake tits and then BBLs? that was not really like Asian culture. I think the Asian culture, and it's more exclusive to like Asians or Asia in general, like the women in Asia. They're like the ones that want to do their whole face, like the double eyelids is like so common in Taiwan. Yeah. And then nose is starting to become a big thing. Some even want to do like lip fillers. I think lip fillers is still more common in America. But
what do you think about lip fillers?
Dude, you look like a frog.
Like if a girl just had like natural like smaller lips, you'd be like, oh, that's fine, like, you know.
Yeah. I'd be like, why do you need to look like a duck?
Right, it looks like they got stung by a bee or something.
Yeah,
like why is your lip so inflamed?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit of lip filler is all right, acceptable. But to a point where it's like too much, then fuck it, dude. Yeah, but I mean, I would still prefer you're just completely natural.
Yeah,
I would still date a girl who's like 5, like what he said, over a girl that I know has a bunch of fucking plastic. And then this is another thing with plastic. If you have that personality of getting plastic, and what are you doing? You're essentially lying to everyone. So what does that show about your personality?
Also,
you probably have a personality.
That's how they attract those fuckboys too. You know, those boys that like, you know, they just everything that
you probably have a personality of deceit. So okay, I'll tell a little story. Like I recently went on a trip, and then it was a trip with like a group of people, and then one of the girls, she actually has a lot of plastic surgery. And then so
like what's a lot?
We're talking like nose, we're talking eyes, we're talking even like the chin to make it like
does she look like a Barbie doll now? Or like
pretty much.
Okay.
And then we could all tell. And then so at the end of the trip, we were all kind of like summarizing everyone, like just like a couple of us were like summarizing everyone the trip. And then we're like, oh yeah, that girl, she's actually pretty chill. And then I was like, why is this person talking about this girl with a lot of plastic surgery as if she would not be chill? Why? Because we have a natural instinct that people who get plastic surgery, what are they looking for? They're looking for attention. They're looking for validation. They're looking to deceive people and probably scam people, because like these are the types that have OnlyFans and are influencers and want to be on the yacht.
Oh, dude, I have one more
the guy
thing
to pay for everything.
Yeah, so I have one more thing. So like, you marry a girl that has plastic surgery, right? And you guys have a kid, and the kid comes out like not as good looking as a wife, like.
Yeah,
that happens often, right? You're just like, hey, wait, why does my baby look like this and you look like that? You know, you're just like, oh, shoot.
Yeah, that's another issue that men will have to deal about,
oh my God.
like deal with and worry about, because there's also like some news before. It's like some girl got so much plastic surgery in Asia, and she got so much to a point where like the guy didn't even know. I don't know how the fuck he didn't know. You gotta be like a moron to not even know that this girl had so much plastic surgery. And then they had a kid, and then now the dude wants to sue her because he found out,
I think I heard
you
something about
got a lot
that.
of plastic surgery. Like, how come I never knew about this? Now my kid looks like ugly.
Yeah, dude.
And so there's also that worry. That's why men, we probably would not want to wife up a girl with plastic surgery, because we don't know how you look naturally.
Dude,
you know?
no. Even without the plastic surgery, they even got makeup to help them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, right. Like even makeup, like like you've seen women without makeup, like you know,
Dude,
the morning after, or you're like,
I could go on a whole rant about even
like,
makeup
oh my
too.
goodness,
Makeup,
bro.
bro.
You're like,
Makeup.
oh, shoot, yeah.
Really quick rant about makeup.
All right, yeah, let's go.
So I feel like a lot of women like they go like same thing. It's like, oh, it makes me feel like more beautiful though. But the thing is, like, here, I'll tell a little story. The story is that like in middle school, high school, girls were not really putting on makeup, but like towards the end of high school, they start putting on makeup, and then
it's too much.
They start putting on every day, okay, and then you see them without makeup one day. You're like, oh my God, she looks aged as fuck. And you know, middle school and early high school, they look the best. They look like the most natural beauty. And it was like, what the fuck did you do to your skin? It's all because of makeup. And then you know, makeup is kind of like a drug, because once you take it, once you start putting it on,
And they
without
notice the
it,
attention?
without
Yeah,
it,
or-
you look like shit now.
Uh-huh.
It has worn you down.
Yeah.
What does drugs do to you? It wears you down. It wears down your mentality, right? It wears out your brain cells. And then there's another thing is that once you stop putting on makeup, you look like shit, so you need to put on more now. What does drugs do? It hooks you in, right? It makes you want to take more. So you want to keep taking more. You want to keep putting on more makeup and counting on it, because now without it, you don't. And then very few. I would see some girls. They would go on like a makeup purge and not put on makeup at all. So they want to heal their skin.
Like all right, so like same thing with like these body like mods. Like, what do you think about tattoos? Because some people get tattoos to build their confidence as well, you know? They're just like, oh,
tattoos. I mean,
you can't really take it off once you put it on, though, you know? It's like,
for me,
like
I'm like really against tattoos, but I have a very extreme view. I feel like a lot of people are okay with tattoos. Like more than
nowadays
surgery.
it's more prevalent.
But like for me, I'm like, nah, I don't know.
You're more on the
people can call me a bitch, whatever, but what do you think?
Like me, like I think I'm gonna have to lean more your way too. Like, I do like tattoos, but like putting them on my body is a different story. I like seeing them, right? Like maybe on like different like other people's bodies, but I'm just like on my body, I'm just like
I just think about like this. Like I go to a wedding and then you see the girl is dressed in white. Okay, if a girl's dressed in white, what does that mean? It's purity, right?
Dude,
and then
I mean, girls are not even pure enough.
You see like just this tattoo on her back, black.
Oh,
you know,
like
what is the opposite of white? Black. So that black tattoo just stands out completely, and it just kind of looks tainted a little bit. I'm like, you know, I don't know, man. I wouldn't prefer my girl to have tattoos, but I've dated girls who have tattoos. It's just, I feel like every girl I come across now has tattoos. So I don't know. That's just the nature of humanity.
But I would prefer
becoming a failed society.
I would prefer something that's like, you know,
when humanity is just becoming a failed society. Now we endorse plastic surgery. Now like women can just go get plastic surgery whenever they want and not even like think about or contemplate the consequences of like plastic surgery and like how that would affect how men would view them and like their loyalty, you know. So yeah, man, I mean, let's continue playing this, dude.
That's a proxy for body dysmorphia.
You're just speaking on yourself.
No, I'm speaking for a lot of men.
No, because there's a lot of men who date a lot of women that are done
Where's
up.
the ring? Cool, guys will you.
Look at all these celebrities. All their women are BBL'd up out and freaking.
And they're
did say a
generous.
good point though.
About
where's the ring, right? He's like, where's the ring? I was like, oh shoot.
Yeah, I was a little bit early. I think I mentioned that, like, yeah, Brian's completely right about this, but we watched this video beforehand, so that's why I mentioned, like, yeah, like, you know what I'm talking about. Do you know what I'm talking about? Fuck, I don't even know. Anyways, what I'm saying is that, like, yeah, I mentioned that Brian said, where's the ring, right?
Yeah.
I think I mentioned that way before, but then I started playing the rest of it. Okay, so that's all done. Let's talk about the next part, the celebrity part. Do you actually see a lot of celebrities that have plastic surgery?
Not like more of like the non-classy side, like, you know, like maybe like rappers, like celebrities and stuff like that. But like if you go to like more like the classy side, like maybe like who do you consider classy? Like Elon Musk or like, you know, Jeff Zuckerberg, you know, Mark Zuckerberg.
The fuck, Jeff Bezos?
Yeah, Jeff Bezos, you know? Yeah, like Jeff Bezos, he doesn't even have anything. Like, you know, he's like like he doesn't look like a stud.
I mean, those are all males, but like think about like women, right?
All right, so like women, like, you know, like Nicki Minaj, like, you know, those like rappers, like I see all of them, you know, BBLs, you know, like breast implants and stuff like that. But like if we're moving up more towards like movie stars and stuff, like I think that goes both ways, because I've seen like some of the older movie stars, like I feel like Angelina Jolie and them, like they didn't have like that much like body enhancements, you know, compared to like nowadays.
That's the first person I think about, like Angelina Jolie. Like if you think about anyone with like the prime like plastic surgery, that would be Angelina Jolie. And I feel like she looks like a duck, dude. Yeah. I mean, yeah, celebrities could have that, but I feel like it's like this, like celebrities, they have so much fame and power and status, they're like up here. But you get plastic surgery like Angelina Jolie, you're gonna go down a little bit, you know.
Oh yeah.
But if you're a normal person, like these fucking hoes.
It would kind of like elevate you.
You're like right here, right?
Uh-huh.
You're just gonna look down here. You know?
Oh.
It's just.
I can.
You know what I
that.
mean?
Yeah,
like,
it's like
Angelina Jolie, all those celebrities, they're still like up there.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of guys who want to date them for their status. It's just they're probably gonna be like -5 points out of like 90 points that they're at.
Yeah. Because I mean, let's say for the average woman out there, you know, like they don't have the fame or anything. They're just like, you know, your regular boba shop girl.
Yeah.
And then, you know, they get like maybe like a boob job, you know, they're like a little Asian, like small little A titties or whatever. They're like, oh, you know, I want to grow them out to be like C cups or something. And then they get the C cups. Like, you think like they're usually doing that for themselves, or you think they're doing that to like attract more men? And in doing so, do you think that elevates their status, or, you know, tarnishes their status?
I believe them. I believe that they're doing it for themselves for the most part, but you have to think inherently, right? Like, what are they doing it for themselves for? It's so that they could actually look better in public. But what does the public consist of? The public consists of men and women.
Dude, yeah.
So,
and then
like, obviously, it's kind of like bros at the gym, right? Gym bros, they're like, oh shit, you look fucking swole, bro. So it's kind of like the same thing with women. It's like, oh my god, your boobs look so nice.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm thinking about getting some too. So they get attention from like the male side and the female side, right? Guys start checking them out more, but then of course those are like very ephemeral, very short, fleeting.
it's like it's attention, but it's not good attention you're getting, you know? It's like,
it's not long lasting.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
the ones that are like very short, fleeting, and guys just want to fuck you.
Yeah,
type.
yeah.
It's not like, oh, like I consider this girl like
Wifey
very
material.
Wifey material. Yeah. So.
When I see a typical ABG girl, you know, like tatted up, you know, like hair dyed, you know, maybe like some like boob jobs, fillers, like everything, the whole shebang, right? I'm just like, that's a lot of baggage.
Well, how though? Like, people would argue how.
Like, I'm just like, that's like overdoing it. I feel like you're doing all this just to get attention, you know? It's like you've been through something that like put you down.
They would like
yeah.
let me, for example, let me be a ABG for a second, okay? So I'd be like, how though? How is that getting attention? Just, I feel good. It makes me feel good about it, Dalan.
Oh, yeah.
Why are you such a bigot?
Okay, I mean, like, you don't see like straight A like girls, you know, like Harvard girls like wanting that attention, you know? They're just like,
Yeah, well, I feel like it. What's wrong with that, Dalan?
there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, you know, like sometimes you might not, you know, get.
Well, you say it like there's something wrong with it. What's
All
wrong
right, so
with
the
it?
attention that you're seeking right now might not be the one that, you know, is good for you.
Why is it not good for me? It makes me feel better.
If it makes you feel better, do you, you know? But like I'm just like watching out for you, like, you know, maybe like.
Why do I need watching out for?
All right, you know what?
It makes me feel better.
If you're a strong, independent woman, you do you.
Okay.
All right.
Well, I don't know why you have to voice your opinions like that. It's kind of misogynistic.
You know, at that point, I would just be like, this is too much to talk to even, like, go any further. I would just leave. I would just walk out. I would be like, you know what? Like, you have a good night, you know?
Bro, I think for a second you actually thought you were talking to a girl, huh? You're
yeah,
like,
no, because I have flashbacks. I'm just like, yeah, you know what? I'm just like, I have flashbacks. I'm just like, you know what? I don't even want to go through this again, you know? I'm just like, I had this talk so many times.
You're like, he was like actually dead ass looking at me like this, like.
I was like, dude,
What the
I
fuck?
PTSD for a second, dude. I was like, oh shit. Oh no, but like, yeah, dude, like, I don't know. What are your thoughts on that, Panda?
I think you're right, man. I mean, we're just trying to look out for these girls, and what we try to promote is positivity and the most successful dating perception, you know? So we always have like these videos where it's like, yeah, like maybe you might not think right now that you need a relationship or like a man, but maybe later down the road that might change, and then later down the road it might be a little bit too late. So that's something you should think about a little bit more. So we always try to promote like positivity like that, and we want to kind of inform and educate others to a point where it's like, you might not know about this, like, hey, you might not know about this, but this might be more beneficial if you do this instead of this.
All right.
Like, you might be thinking that getting a BBL, getting fake tits, getting all this plastic surgery will attract a good husband, but you might actually attract a very materialistic relationship. And not, I mean, if that's what you're looking for, that's fine. Go for that one dude who's gonna pay for all your shit, and then you guys just have like a relationship where it's just based off money and it's not really based off actual love. And I've seen girls like that where they're just gold diggers and they don't actually have love in their eyes. They're just, what their love is for money. And I think if you're that type of girl, I think you should definitely go get like BBL, go get fake tits, go and get like a rich husband, because those are the types of girls that will attract those types of guys.
But we're also like you said, we're looking out for them for the, like, you know, like if they change their mind later down the road, it's like, oh shoot, like, you know, you basically like threw everything away because you were just, you know, you have this bad image now, you know, like.
Yeah, but at the same time, I'm being real, you know, there are like a lot of simp guys out there, especially simp guys with a lot of money. They're like, I just want a trophy wife, and it's like, dude, fucking.
All right, so let's get back on the we were talking about like just basically sleeping around, right? I have a video that I want us to take a look, like number 6 on the Google Docs.
No, I got it. Okay, we got it.
You got to be careful who you lay down with, because when you mix the spirits, that's what you do. You know, when you're having sex with people, you're bonding within that. That's when people break up, and they might break up with somebody, but that person could still have a hold on them. All of a sudden you get the phone call and that heart and the stuff like, because they're connected is a soul tie. So you gotta be able to get that off of you too. You might break up with somebody, but there can be soul ties. You don't know what they're connected to as well. You gotta be careful who you lay down with.
So do you think
because
that
when
like
you mix the spirits?
What do you think about that? Like, you think like sleeping with like a lot of, or having a lot of sexual partners like kind of like chips away at your soul? Like,
I think, yeah. I definitely think that like if you share your soul with like so many people, then it could be harder to actually find love and be deep like that.
okay, so like going back to like our previous one with the cosmetic like surgery, right? Like, do you think like having cosmetic surgery will increase the chances of like people like becoming soulless? Like, cause they're getting cosmetic surgery for the looks, right? And they're just attracting to get like to like have sexual partners.
So it's kind of like
promoting soulless society.
It's kind of like having sex with a lot of people, but instead of sex, it's attention. You're getting all this attention that you become dull. Yeah. It's kind of like the same thing. It's kind of like drugs, what I just talked about, right? Because with drugs and makeup and putting on makeup, taking drugs, you're chasing all these higher highs that you have lower lows, right? So if you're always getting attention and validation, and then when you stop getting it, you're gonna have a lower low, right? Yeah. It's kind of like you feel dull. Like you're like, that's just my life now. My life is just getting all these compliments all the time that is just not anything crazy to me. You're just like, what the fuck does it matter?
Yeah. Like, what I had to say about this is like, I feel like if men and women are just like, because nowadays like everything is like flashy, right? Like everyone's like flashing like Instagram and stuff. Like they're like, oh, I have this, I have that, and then they're like, oh, like they're also like, I would say like this generation, everything's more visualized, right? Like we're like more visually attracted to like luxury, and then like tattoos now, and then just like a lot of cosmetic surgery. I feel like nowadays everything's superficial. Yeah. And it's so hard. Like what was the white guy's name in whatever? Brian, what he was saying, it was just like, yeah, like everything is becoming to a point where it's like, I rather want like the stock version, like the original version. Like I don't want like, you to put on this fake persona or this fake thing that like, you're pretending to be and you're not, it's not like, I feel like that just promotes like a lot of what would you say, like untrustworthiness, or just like a lot of deceitfulness in society. It's like, oh, like we see people online, like I don't know if we could cut this out, but like I want to bring up something about right, or like like other content creators out there that are like flexing it, like like that are selling like these scamming courses. I feel like they're just like all doing it like everything's like so superficial, like I just don't know, like if we keep continuing down this path, like I feel like everything is gonna be like thought of as like a scam or like a conspiracy theory,
Yeah, I mean, like that's what they were already warning about like 10 years ago when Lil Wayne was like promoting sex, drugs, and money. Remember, like every radio station would be playing Lil Wayne all the fucking time, right?
Yeah.
10 years ago or 15 years ago, I would say. And it got to a point where it was just like they've desensitized everyone to this perspective of money.
Yeah.
Like they've made it like it's back then, right? They'd be like, oh shit, I'm rich, I gotta be careful. But now it's like, yo, I'm at the club, I'm rich, let's throw some money. It's the stupidest shit I've ever seen in my life. It's like back in the times where there's like hella gangs, you're like a target. You're like a target if like you have all this money and you just show it like, hey, I have fucking $1,000, dude. Whenever I
You're just asking to get robbed.
yeah, it's the stupidest shit. And it's like when I go the bank and I get like $100 or like
withdrawing
a
or
lot of money,
depositing money.
withdrawing
Yeah, you're
money.
just like
I'm not going like, hey,
flashing
y'all,
it everywhere. Like
I'm not like putting it on social media. Like, look at how much I fucking made. Like, just from one day or
just like walking out the jail with like $100 bills.
yeah, it's so stupid. It's like, okay, you're gonna get robbed. I'm like actually like concerned. I'm like, I think normal people would think like that, but now like we have more and more people who are just thinking like idiots and just like, let me show off my fucking money and let me just throw money at the club. Like, what the fuck are you? What kind of flex is this?
Yeah, it's
You say for example you win the lottery, right?
Yeah.
You've heard of those cases where like people win lotteries and then all these people start like looking for this guy to try to rob him, or a lot of like friends and family start asking like for money, and so whoever wins the lottery, I think there's like a case like some guy won the lottery but he remained anonymous because he didn't want people to start pestering him.
Yeah.
Like if I won the lottery, I would
You would
be like,
also be
I would be like,
low-key.
no, fucking low key, bro. Fuck
Yeah.
that shit, man. I'm not letting, because then you would have all these haters, like friends, like coming after you, like, hey, you won the lottery, give me some money, or you won the lottery, why don't you pay for me for this? Why don't you buy me a house? It's like, shut the fuck up, bitch.
Yeah, for
Like,
real.
what the fuck did you? What would you do for me?
They're just because
Just
I
because
knew
and,
you.
And you know
Yeah.
another thing too is that like in middle school, high school, some dumbest logic I've ever come across is just like, oh, you come from a wealthy family, why don't you buy me lunch today? I'm like, what the fuck? So all the rich people owe you shit because they're rich? What kind of shit is that?
All right, you know what? That's a perfect transition to our next video. There's
What is that shit?
for reals. There's another video that I want us to take.
But before we get to like that next video, let's just cut it off here because I feel like it's getting a little bit long. So
Yeah.
we're just gonna end it here for now. I think this whole thing was pretty good discussion about like cosmetic surgery and why I think women should not get breast implants or BBLs or any plastic surgery if you're looking for that type of man who is going to be long term with you, right? So I mean that's just my thoughts, that's our thoughts, right? I mean you believe the same thing.
I mean, obviously there are some like outliers out there, you know, some rich men do want like, oh, you know, like women with like a body kit and stuff, but it's like, you know, it's like each pool that you're trying to get into, like there's different like, you know, like factors that you have to consider.
We're just trying to help people out to consider things that they probably never consider. We're not trying to be like, hey, this is how you should live your life. And I think that's how a lot of women would tend to think, because they'd be like, hey, why are you telling me how to live my life? It's not that. Like I feel like that defensive mechanism that they have is sprouted because they know inherently that it's not really right, you know? Like think about it. Like if you're putting on all this fake stuff, you just we actually as a society kind of look at things like that. We point out, oh yeah, she's hot, but she has breast implants. You know, it's always like, yeah, she's hot, but she's done lip injections, or she's hot, but she's done a nose job. We all know that it's naturally, it's not really ethical.
Yeah, and it's like natural beauty is so hard to come by. Like even because like without the plastic surgery, like makeup's so prevalent. Like everyone's wearing makeup, you know. It's like everyone gets praised for, oh wow, like you look good. What did you do with your eyeliner? Or, like, you know, like it's not like, oh, it's like if you see a normal person show up without makeup, you're like, oh, what's wrong with you? You know, or like, oh, what happened to you? You know, it's like, you know, like especially like for women, like it's like, yeah.
All right, man. Well, we're gonna wrap it up here. Thank you guys for watching the Controvert Podcast, and then we will see you guys next time. Peace out, guys.
Later.